um, wants to watch it later. So my name is Andi. I am a mentor and an agent with Team Infinity. My personal team is Andi Land Adventures. And I didn't really think ever that I would be doing group trips. However, just a kind of a quick thing as to how I actually got these couple of groups. My late husband was in the Shriners, and I don't know if y'all are familiar with them, but and not having your cameras on is fine. So the person in charge of the group in their location is called the Potentate. So this year's Potentate in Atlanta reached out to me and said, hey, we want to do a group trip this year. We haven't done them in a while, and I want to put something together for our members to come with us. His wife is also a teacher, so it had to be during a holiday break or during summer break. Summers for this particular organization is very jam-packed full. So they decided that they wanted something during Thanksgiving break for her. And they originally said, hey, we just want to fly to like the Keys or, somewhere easy. I said, okay, cool. So I sent them 3 different options. I sent them the option of the Keys because that's what they specifically asked for. But then I also sent them the option of the Dominican Republic because it's very easy to get to and from Atlanta. But then I also gave them a group cruise quote. Originally, they wanted to steer clear of cruising, but I gave it to them anyway because of everything that was included and the amount of the amount of the cruise along with the amenities, because they did want families to be able to join them with their kids. So I'm going to share my screen. All right. So one of the first things, and I kind of touched on this for a few seconds, is, they call you and say, hey, I want a trip. You've got to qualify them just like you do a regular booking. What do they want to do? Do they want to be together 100% of the time? What kind of group is it? If they are a school group, you're going to price that differently than the group that I priced, because the group I priced is philanthropic. They like to party. They like to have fun. For an all-inclusive for a group of underage travelers, an all-inclusive may not be the best option. Do they need any kind of meeting space? So what do they need when they're there? Do you want to do side trips and learn about things? It's just a matter of figuring out what the whole group wants, just like you would figure out when you're talking to your family that wants to go, or your honeymooners, what it is they want. The next thing, make sure you're organized. Have whatever it is you use. So whether you keep a spreadsheet, whether you, I've got some eye stuff going on, so staring at the screen a lot isn't going to work for me right now, and I know that. I put everything on a note card. And I also print out a copy of what it is that they have wanted and staple it to that note card. So I'm able to say, okay, I spoke to them on this day about this and this day about this and this. Because what happens a lot with your groups is you don't remember, because everybody's doing the same thing, who you discussed what with, so like this one that I just showed you, they wanted to upgrade from an ocean view to a balcony, but they did not want any of the packages from the cruise line, such as the bubbles or the unlimited beverage. So I made sure I notated that. But on another one, she needed me to call and get them a handicap accessible cabin. But they wanted the bubbles package. They don't drink, but they wanted to have the unlimited sodas. So it just depends on the type of group and what they want. So being organized, because everybody's doing the exact same thing on the exact same day, you need to have that even little bit of extra structure. Know the details of the group inside and out. So when we originally booked this cruise, we originally booked it for the Carnival Ecstasy. Everything stayed the same, but midway through about May, Carnival said, oh, the ship is in disrepair, need to bring it into dry dock. So they chose a date. They're bringing it into dry dock. They're making changes. Well, in all of that, they have to move ships and everything else around. So they took the Ecstasy out. They replaced it with the Elation. I needed to alert my passengers because I had a waiting list at that point for balconies. So because the Ecstasy was a little smaller, older ship, it didn't have the amount of balcony space that the Elation does. So I was able to call about 5 different wait lists and say, hey, this is what's going on. Do you want me to get you the upgrade? This is what it's going to cost to do that. I had all that information before I called them, because the more time you're spending back and forth, the less you're going to make if you figure up your cost per hour. So this particular group, I have about a total of 40 hours in on it for 24 cabins. I have 3 or 4 more people that contacted me last night and said, hey, can we still get in? Absolutely, as long as there's space available on the ship at this point, because we had to close out the group. I can still tag them in it. They still get all those group amenities, but they are now into full payments and regular rate. So let me just show you. Oh, and I missed a slide. So I don't know how I missed this. So let's back up a second. To be considered a group, cruises are generally 16 cabins, unless it's one of the smaller river cruise or expedition type sailings. So like AMA Waterways is 5 cabins or 10 people. Hotels are generally 10 rooms. Both are at double occupancy, whether it's cruises or hotels. can do air only through the major airlines. And if you call Delta or you call American or United or whatever, it's usually 10 seats to qualify. Now, the cool thing about doing the groups with the airfare included, or just with the airline specifically, is that airline does not need the names up front like you would if you're just going into Vax and booking that information. They will hold the seats, let you finish coordinating the group, and then you give them everything at one time. So if you are in Vax, Vax will only allow you to book 4 rooms. So if you want that land group package, you need to call the vendor themselves, whether it's Apple, Funjet, whatever, and they will build it based and send you confirmations. With Carnival, I'll pull up my Carnival, my Carnival group booking. You can create a group on your own in Carnival. Now, they limit the amount of cabins that you can request online. You can call them very quickly, 1-800 number, and they will change those configurations, whatever it is that you want to look at. So when you get that, they are going to give you the group name. Here's all the voyage information. So we have paid $32,000 on this group already. These fun points are additional amenities for the group. So they are receiving a shared cocktail party, so that they can all get together at one time. I also chose to give them a $25 stateroom onboard ship credit instead of me taking additional commission, which is also an option. And I did that so that that group, each individual says, hey, look what she did for us, in the hopes that when they're ready to travel again individually, that they'll call me. So those are, just some things to think about and be mindful. Do you want to rack it in all at one time, or do you want to get that individual pricing and vacationing as well? So reports. This is how Carnival keeps up with all of theirs. I print this out and I make sure that it matches what I have on my paperwork. With my iStuff, this prints out in little itty bitty print. So I have to make sure that what I'm seeing is also what they're doing. Once they have their individual confirmation on top of the cruise confirmation, so like for Mr. and Mrs. Haynes, this C7, C9, and 4, that's their individual confirmation. So now they're able to download the Carnival app onto their phone and apply that Cheers package, or purchase any of the excursions when they get into port. Look at their cabin, change any cabin configurations from twin to king, or whatever they need to do with that. And then, come on, That's right. All right. So just to kind of give you an idea of what they look like differently, this is Royal Caribbean site. So we can start an individual, we can start a group. I am going to find my group. And here it is. So this is what their group report looks like. It is a little less expensive than what the Carnival group was. Right now, this group potentially has 60 to 70 cabins. So I was able to put a complimentary hold. I told them middle of October because I knew their meeting was coming up the end of September. But I technically, with this group, don't have to do anything until June the 9th. I don't want to let it go that long. Just because it is such a large group, I want to be able to either say, hey, I am now going to market this on my own and reap the rewards, or I'm just going to cancel it and do something different. It all depends on how you want to interact with your group once they have either decided to not do it or to do it. All right. So I'm seeing some stuff in the chat box. All right. So how many for Carnival? So Carnival cabins are 16 to be considered a group, and that's at double occupancy. And you weren't seeing my page, man. Did y'all see any of my pages that I shared? Probably not. So let me go back and stop sharing and reshare. All right, so we can see the Carnival stuff now. Cool. My apologies, guys. I'm just rambling and didn't even look at your chat messages. So group booking with Carnival. Here's where we're at. All right, so everything with Carnival for the group is here. But anytime you want to make a group payment, search any other group bookings. That's would be if you have multiple bookings going on at the same time. You've got all of the details here. However, you need to have it somewhere else too, whether you know it off the top of your head, whether you have it in a notes section on your phone, on your laptop, whatever, because your folks are going to, as it's getting promoted, the members of that group are going to be calling. Fun points do a couple of different things. Like I said, I chose for mine an additional $25 onboard credit per stateroom, and then also gave them the shared cocktail party because I knew that we weren't going to have that maximum of 50 staterooms. I wanted them to have the and opportunity to kind of mingle together as that group like they're used to doing. For Royal Caribbean, this is what I have offered them. This is their group number. I actually priced out Royal Caribbean for my fall of next year and a Carnival. One was a 6-night, 7-day sailing. One was a 5-night, 6-day sailing. His qualifier was that they leave out of Miami or Port Canaveral. He is actually from Puerto Rico, but all of his group, so for him, he said, it's going to be best if I meet up with the group in one of those 2 locations and catch the ship versus have all of them try to get to Puerto Rico. So I will have that airfare for him as well to get from Puerto Rico to the States to pick up with that group. So essentially, it's just like doing individual. It's just that you have it in all at the same time coming up. So once this sailing is on November 19th, I will start getting all of their boarding passes about the middle of October. So it's going to be another probably hours worth of time, letting them know that their documents are ready. I can print them out and mail them, or all of the information is in their app. I already know I have 2 that need to be mailed. They don't do apps. They very rarely do email. So, you know, I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to open it up for questions. Unmute. Okay, so it looks like everybody's unmuted. Do you have any questions for me? All right, so no questions. I am on the, so largest group that I've booked is this one coming up next fall that I'm waiting on which one that they want, whether they want the Carnival or the Royal Caribbean. So my first group size as an independent agent was this one at 24. But I was an agent for brick and mortar back in the late 90s, early 2000s. And I had groups anywhere from 10 people air only to, I think my largest back then was 45 on a bus trip, which would have been 20 hotel rooms. So this Carnival group is by far my largest ever, and then the one upcoming. So how do I advertise for 2 groups? That's a good question because I didn't actually advertise for this one? They approached me because we were in the same organization and they knew I was a travel agent. And then the next group that I'm working on right now, he saw their ad in their quarterly magazine and he reached out and said, hey, my group is going, I will be in charge next year. I want to do something with my group. Let's go ahead and start getting it set up now. How far in advance? It just depends. You know, he wants time to market it to get more people. So that's why he's reaching out earlier than normal. Lead time, I would say, is about the same as an individual booking. I don't know that I would try to put a group together in a month and a half or 2 months because it does take up a lot of time versus just a normal booking. So definitely advertising in flyers, books, whatever is definitely a good way to make that happen. When the group confirmed, let me show you, I created a flyer for them to put in their quarterly magazine. And I may or may not be able to open it up. There's that. Let me share my screen again. All right, so what I did was I just went on to Carnival's website, pulled down a flyer template, and then filled it in with their information. Then as a PDF, I emailed it to them. And as COVID changed, as we got out of the $25 per person to hold your space to regular time of deposits, final payments, I updated. And then they took this PDF, shrunk it down, and just put it into their own magazine. They uploaded it to their Facebook page. They uploaded it to their website. So once I did the initial, they took over the rest of it. All right, so walk you through the process. So let me get back to stop sharing that. And I'm assuming by the process you want me to so yes, Belinda, space in your school district's flyer book would be fabulous. And then, come on, stupid. Where did it go? Stop sharing. Where did y'all go? Oops. All right, so I'm in Carnival. So here under group bookings, you want to create a group. Once they say, hey, I need this. So you're going to look at dates. Oh, I can't see my screen again. How about now? All right, so I'm just going to I don't know. Let's look maybe at over the 4th of July next year. So once you put in a from date, it automatically populates for 30 days after that. But you can change it and go up to a max of 90 days. The group type, do you want to make it an open promotion that anybody can join? And they don't have to contact you at all. Mine is an affinity group. So that is just like your school groups or whatever. It's going to be limited to those travelers. So then you can choose whatever. I'm going to choose the Liberty just because, we're looking at 4th of July, Lady Liberty, or you can choose a destination. She only goes to the Bahamas, but if we leave that blank and choose a destination, then we can look at all of it. So I'm going to price Alaska and then because this populated, there are no 2 to 5 day Alaska cruises. So it's going to narrow down. Okay, now, does your group want to go for a week to 10 days, or do they want to go for longer than 10 days? Let's do 6 to 9. All right. And then the only port of departure is Seattle. Now, this particular sailing, instead of the 16 cabins, only requires a minimum of 8. So yes, generally it's 16, but like I said, sometimes there are exceptions. This is one of those exceptions. Do you want Fun Point amenities on all the sailings, or do you want to just do them for a particular? I want it to search all sailings within this time frame, whether it has Fun Points or not. All right, so we don't have anything leaving on July 1 or so to be actually on ship on the 4th. So we can either back it up, go forward. The price difference for me and promoting a group, I don't know that I would choose leading on the 4th for a whole lot of reasons. But then you've also got the option of, hey, if they wait until the 27th, you're already down about $50 per person. But just to walk you through, let's look. My chat box is in the way. Why won't you? And then I had looked at July 6th. So comparing, this is on the July 4th. This is all the cabins and cabin categories that you can choose from. So there's a lot more to choose from than there are on the one that's less expensive. because there are more options here, that's the one I'm going to choose. So now, as you go through it, I'm just going to venture seekers, or, whatever. This alternate agency, it does not like my phone number. So I just copy and paste Archer's phone number and put it in. But on the flyer that you send to your group, have your phone number listed. So balconies, how many do we want to reserve at this price? How many do we want to reserve at this price? $189. I'm just going to go down and do the least expensive cabin category of balconies. And I'm going to say, okay, we want to hold 5 of those. This number right here is the maximum that you can hold. 1 to 15. Ocean view rooms. No, it doesn't. Let me go. Okay. So the cool thing about the groups, sometimes they will give you a budget, sometimes they won't. With group cruises, though, you can say, okay, like with this one, because of the balcony, those travelers are going to be able to call you and say, hey, okay, so let's go with 8. Why are we being dumb? I don't know what it's doing or why it's doing it. But to finish answering your question, that's why you give them options when you're booking for super large groups. Smaller groups where they're all going to the same destination, like with like if they're going to Las Vegas or Cancun or wherever, that school group is probably going to say, hey, max of this, and you want to get under that. But with this, because you're able to quote them inside, outside, and balcony cabins, the passengers then, when they call you, are able to say, okay, I want this one, or I want to upgrade to that one. So while having a budget is good, just like in all of them, with a group, it's not 100% necessary. And I don't know why these are not. Allowing me to move on. What am I missing? All right. Yeah, but I only had 30 until I put, so I don't know why it's not allowing me to hold. And it's probably Total max request. Please enter the number needed for the group. I mean, we've got everything we need. This is weird. Because we're not less than 8 and we're not more than 32. Which means I'm missing something. Just don't know what it is I'm missing. 16%. No, that is the commission. So if I go back, let me pull up the group that we have final payment on, and I will show you the commissions. All right, so reports. Can y'all still see this? Why is it not? Okay, cool. Just making sure. I don't understand. It's really. I wonder if it's the size on my screen. All right, I'm going to stop sharing for a second and see if it. I don't understand why it's not picking it up. Okay, group looking. There it is. Okay, so on the group detailed workup report that has everybody's name, that 16% is the actual commission. So for this group, this is what my commission is. This group credit, that is the complimentary policy. So this $793 would take care of 2 cabins. So if you want to travel with them as their personal assistants, you can. I am going to give some of this back to the group for their philanthropic pursuits and fundraiser. So this is what I'm gonna, or what the check is gonna be cut to Archer. But the deposits, a lot of times, or not a lot, but in every case, like this particular group, because we held it in March, it was $25 per person just to hold the space. Then in June, full deposit at $150 per person was needed. And then the end of August, full payment was needed. So deposits work a little bit differently as well. Let's see if I can walk you guys through another booking, because I don't know why it's sticking like that. And again, this is just if you're doing a group cruise. If you're doing a group land package, you have to call the vendor themselves. I don't want to search the group. I want to build a group. We need a group book. All right, so absolutely. What happens with the group is they get specific discounted rates already. And then like with Carnival, those fun point amenities, you can give them additional things, which I chose for my group a party, so that they can all get together in one location, in a private location. And then I also gave them the shipboard credit, so that if they go to the bar, they can get a drink. If they want a special latte at one of the coffee bars, they have that to use. You can also use those fun points. No. So those fun points are automatically added in. See where it says fun points / amenities. You do not have to choose them right away, but all of this is included in this sailing rate. All right, so the fun points are what you use as the travel agent in your group booking to make it extra special for the sailors. So you can choose out of Carnival gives you a number. So at this rate, $1,144, this sailing, you will have 3 fun point amenities. Now, if you choose not to do the amenities, this green question mark box shows you that, hey, should you decide to not use any of those fun points, the rate will be less. You can modify those. So right now we're looking at 3 fun points, but let's take it down and not have any fun points for them. Let's just say they want the best rate. They don't care. So now without any fun points, that same balcony is now down to $11.23. If we add amenities, let's say we want 5 amenities for the group for this sailing. It now bumps up from the $11.40 to the $11.50. So it just depends on what it is your customers are looking for and how you want to market it. Because you can market this with, hey, your cruise or your group. So the purpose of the fun points is additional marketing. You can say, hey, with this, you get a $25 shipboard credit, or you get an unlimited drink package for the day, or whatever it is that you add to these. It just makes it additionally marketable, if that makes sense. You can add, and I'll show you what the options are if it'll. So for this one, the fun points are all listed on a flyer. Can you see my flyer, or do I have to stop sharing and share again? Can't see. Okay. So stop share. Share. All right. So here is some of the things that you can choose. So minimum staterooms required. So this premium private cocktail party, you have to have a minimum of 50 staterooms. So for this particular group, we're not going to have that. But we did have the shared cocktail party. So it'll be them and maybe one other group that they can get together with. And that is that max or a minimum of 8. Then there's, if they use this as a fundraiser, and this is the amount of points that that particular sailing will use for that. Shipboard credit, because I had 3 amenities on mine, I was able to give them that $25 stateroom credit. Yes, everything is quoted in double occupancy with groups. Now, I do have some families that are taking their kids and grandkids, which means they are now a 3rd and 4th person in that room. The stateroom counts, and depending on the required. So like this maximum of 500 guests, those 3rd and 4th passengers count for that. But like on this, so how do you get free credits for the guests? I guess I don't understand. So are you asking about these fun point credits? So these fun point credits are built into the rate. So an example of, and I'm just going to use their example on the flyer, 7-day with 4 suggested fun points. The rate for the sailing is $5.99 per person. Then you can, this particular group said, hey, we're going to give everybody some champagne and chocolates in the room on their arrival, and then a $50 per stateroom on board ship credit. Like I said, I chose for my group this cocktail party, which was for their 5-day 1 fun point. And then the $25 shipboard credit was 2 points for their sailing. All right, so now I'm going to stop sharing that again and go back. Nope. All right, so now we're going to 818 248 9141. And let's see if it's going to take this one. Let's do 10, 10, 5. Okay, we're not less than 8. Save and continue. Come on. Oh, group name. Let's just do mock training. Go. I know, because we. But we're not exceeding any of it. I mean, 1 to 15, I had 10. 5, 10, 15, that's less than 32. Why are we not moving on? It's got to be on Carnival's end because I've got everything in. All right, so the next step was basically just re-looking at everything and saying, yes, that's good, confirming, and then getting that confirmation number. The next thing after you have that confirmation, you need to send an email to Peggy Archer not Peggy Archer, but Peggy at Archer Travel. She is in charge of groups. Just send her a short email that says, hey, I'm holding this group. This is the confirmation number, so that when that information comes across her desk, because she's going to get it and then forward it to you today or tomorrow, or, whenever she gets that email, so that she knows where it belongs. It also will have all of your group information. So the name of the group, when deposits, how much deposits, all of that. And I am on the Discord chats. So if you have a group and need help, please, I'm more than happy to jump on and walk you through another one, because it is overwhelming at first. And then we can just go from there. Are there any other questions? All right, so no other questions. I'm gonna, so you'll be able to, it's in the cloud. So once Jody